So tonight was the go-home show for Smackdown for the Elimination Chamber PLE, which is airing tomorrow night. With the big question going in, obviously, is will Cody Rhodes end up selling his soul to The Rock? Tonight, Cody Rhodes was being interviewed by Michael Cole on that fact. Obviously, they're not going to give this, they're not going to give the answer to what Cody's going to say until tomorrow. That way, they can, hook everybody in and whatnot. But regardless, I thought tonight's SmackDown was, fairly enjoyable compared to, previous week's SmackDowns and previous months' SmackDowns. And I feel like it's like they almost heard our complaints about SmackDown just being redundant and being stale and boring. Hopefully going forward, this is not just a one-off and we can actually start to enjoy these shows once again. But, I thought overall, pretty good show, pretty fun show. Obviously, they're not going to give us too much before tomorrow night. But, there was a segment here which I thought was hands down probably the segment, for sure the segment of tonight. But you can consider it, a segment of the entire year so far. We had every Elimination Chamber men's participant out here with the exception of John Cena, of course, which was also brought up because they've been recently highlighting John Cena's promo packages, how he stated that, this is the last Elimination Chamber that he's going to compete in and everything. And, from a distance, you hear Drew McIntyre's voice saying, cut it off, cut this off, tells the production people to cut it off, cut this video package off. And he tells, everybody that, where is John Cena? He said that John Cena gave everybody 7 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it's been for the Elimination Chamber participants to run their mouth against John Cena, and so far nobody said anything other than CM Punk, and CM Punk really didn't say much in regards to John Cena. He said that, so McIntyre referred to John Cena, he said that he used his stroke to get in his position. He said that, in 2010, 2011, what would that John Cena say about this current iteration of John Cena? Would he think that he's a hypocrite? The fact that he goes off to Hollywood and only comes back for the major events and whatnot. He said that, back in the day, McIntyre was, super intimidated by John Cena, super scared, feared him, not, physically. He said that feared him because politically he can end a career like that, and he snapped his fingers. And he mentioned John Cena's bald spot on his head, saying it could have its own area code, how big it is. So eventually, one by one, we get the Elimination Chamber participants come out here. We get Damian Priest. He came out here. He called Drew McIntyre essentially just a crybaby. He said that he's been so obsessed with Punk. That's why he's been on the losing end of so many big matches. Then Seth Rollins came out here in what was a ridiculous outfit. It was pointed out by CM Punk the fact that he looked like an oven mitt. And eventually, CM Punk did come out here and told Seth Rollins that, he cooked him once on January 6th edition of Monday Night Raw. He's going to cook him again tomorrow night. He said that both Seth and McIntyre are so obsessed with Punk, yet Punk is only obsessed with one thing, as he points to the WrestleMania sign. He mentioned to Priest, he said, you and me are cool, but if it comes down to me and you, obviously you're going to be collateral damage. And he mentioned John Cena. He said that John Cena started a retirement tour and hasn't shown up at all. And eventually we hear John Cena's music. Toronto went batshit crazy for John Cena. Everybody went batshit crazy. I went batshit crazy. And it was too good to be true because goddamn Logan Paul. It was Logan Paul who came out here. And to be honest, I didn't really pay attention too much about what Logan Paul actually said. I think it was actually pretty good to have Logan Paul be the one to troll. But again, this leads me to believe that, tomorrow night, Logan Paul and John Cena, a lot of people are sort of writing that off. But don't be surprised if this is the direction that they're going in. Cena and Logan Paul. Again, I know a lot of people aren't going to like that decision and they're not going to like that. But I feel like that, we can't roll it out because we still don't know really what's going to happen tomorrow night, which is, really unpredictable. I still, predict Cena at this point. Things can change in a heartbeat, but I think this promo was absolutely, the top thing of the night. And as far as everything else, we had a men's tournament for the United States Championship. It was a one-night tournament to crown a new #1 contender for Shinsuke Nakamura. But eventually, we led off with a triple threat match that we were going to get tonight with all winners. And the winners were LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, and Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu originally wasn't supposed to be in this whole tournament, but Solo Sikoa made the call. He said, Jacob Fatu, he said, tonight you're going to run the play. He's obviously trying to get back on his good graces, trying to give him, all this sort of leverage that I love you, Jacob. I want you to, have gold around your waist and everything. So Jacob Fatu was involved in this match. And eventually we got a winner, which was LA Knight. He took advantage of Jacob Fatu delivering that flying moonsault from the top to Carmelo. So LA Knight is the #1 contender for Shinsuke. Shinsuke wasn't here tonight due to a family emergency, which they kind of reshuffled their whole, Smackdown plans for tonight. But my biggest, gripe with this is, originally LA Knight was supposed to face Shinsuke tonight. So by default, he was already the #1 contender. So why are we doing, a tournament to crown a #1 contender when it's just going to be LA Knight once again? I would have thought maybe they go with Carmelo, because if Fatu wins, Fatu almost has to win the United States Championship. If LA Knight wins, then we're in the same predicament. So it would be at least a change to have Carmelo win. But I also figured, if Fatu wins, maybe that could be the whole catalyst to set up Solo and Fatu. Maybe Solo gets involved and Fatu resents Solo because of that. But, if LAE had to revert back to LA Knight, which I don't know, what the whole purpose was then, you know what I mean? Just to feature guys. And all throughout the night, Cody Rhodes was greeted by escorts, right? He was greeted when he got to the show by escorts that were handed out by The Rock. They escorted Cody Rhodes to his new quote unquote locker room, which had a lot of riches there. Obviously The Rock trying to seduce, I guess you could say, Cody Rhodes into joining his side. And eventually, obviously, like I told you guys, Cody Rhodes was going to come out here in the main event spot to address The Rock. He was going to be interviewed by Michael Cole, and Michael Cole essentially laid out what would happen if Cody Rhodes actually said yes to The Rock's proposition tomorrow night. He said that essentially Cody Rhodes can dictate when he wants to defend the title. He could, stop traveling in his tour bus. He could stay at home with his family. He could be on the board of TKO. He could do all these sorts of things, right? And Michael Cole eventually, gets something in his earpiece. He says that, wait, there's a gift for you, Cody, and it's arriving right now. And it's this big ass fucking Raptor truck that The Rock came out and gifted Cody Rhodes. And you can see the American Nightmare logo, Cody Rhodes' name and everything. And on the Minitron, you see The Rock. He's about to board to come to Toronto, Canada. He delivers, a 5-minute promo, which this 5-minute promo felt like a 10-minute promo with The Rock, because like we said, he just can't get to the fucking point. But what he's trying to do, right? He's trying to get Cody Rhodes to see what awaits him if he says yes tomorrow night. And he leads off with this weightlifting belt. And on the weightlifting belt, it says Cody's soul and the date of Dusty Rhodes' passing, right? I think it was June 11th, 2015. And he said, The Rock said to Cody Rhodes, he said, when your daddy left us, he said, it broke my heart. He said, don't break my heart tomorrow night. I know you'll do the right thing. And eventually The Rock leaves and Cody Rhodes is, puzzled right there in the entrance ramp. And again, this leads you to believe, will Cody Rhodes say yes tomorrow night? Which obviously he will not. And speaking of tomorrow night, we also have the unsanctioned match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. So Sami Zayn came out here to address Kevin Owens, and he called him out. He called Kevin Owens out. He said, I know you're in Toronto, so come out here so we can address this. So Kevin Owens, he's showing on the Minitron as well. He's in the Rogers Center. He said that the reason he's in the Rogers Center is to not injure Sami Zayn before their match tomorrow. He says that tomorrow he's going to end Sami Zayn's career. Not only is he going to win the match tomorrow, but after he wins, he's going to end Sami Zayn's career. And that Sami Zayn's family, they're not going to get any sympathy at all from Kevin Owens. He said he's not even going to acknowledge them. He said that all this is Sami Zayn's fault. Sami Zayn reverts. He says, I'm nervous. I will admit I am nervous, but I'm not nervous for myself. I'm nervous for what happens to you. He says, I'm nervous that I can't forgive myself for what happens tomorrow night. He says tomorrow night we're gonna end all of this. He says I'm nervous if your family, if your kids, if your mother, if your dad, if they're ever gonna forgive me for what I do tomorrow night to you. And eventually when this segment ended, I thought to myself, damn, I really want this match, I really want this feud to continue past the Elimination Chamber to WrestleMania. I felt like this could be they're building it as like the end of all ends for this match, but I feel like, you know, you could go a step further here. I know obviously Randy is going to return tomorrow and they're going to set that up tomorrow, but selfishly I want Kevin and Sammy at WrestleMania Part 2 Hell in a Cell. I would love that. And overall, man, those were the highlights of tonight's Friday Night Smackdown. Like I said before, I thought it was a very good show compared to last week's and the previous week's Smackdowns. I felt like those Smackdowns were really treading water with just being a bore and a snooze fest. And I hope going forward that they can at least try to restructure how Smackdown is set up. Because tonight, like I said, tonight was a very good show, a very enjoyable show, I should say. And I hope they continue with this, and I hope they can continue the streak and the momentum that they have currently. So let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And as always, we are going to be here for the Elimination Chamber recap. So we'll see y'all tomorrow night for that. And until next time, take care, y'all, and I'll see y'all later.